sorry, right? This would be F, right? And this would be B flat. Okay, then this would be E flat, this would be A flat, this would be D flat, and according to him, this is G flat, and then this is C flat. Sorry, traditionalists. Okay, so he said that's the case. Then he says that brings a total of 8. As you can see, we have. As you can see, sorry, I was looking down there. As you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so far we have 8 keys. And then now over here, he says that there are 7 sharps. Okay, and in terms of the one that has 1 sharp, all right, is going to be G. 2 sharps is going to be to D. 3 sharps is going to be A. 4 sharps are going to be what? It's going to be E. 5 sharps is going to be B. And then 6 sharps is going to be F sharp. And then 7 sharps is going to be C sharp. So he says this is quite simple. As he said there are, now you don't count these as 2 different ones, this is 1 key. So it's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so far, according to this theory, we have 15 keys, but he's not done yet because he said that these are the major keys. Now I'd say he said, he's representing the theory that said, so it's not on the David Welsh guy, it's the theory saying that there are 15 keys here. However, according to his article, which is according to what is taught, each major key is like in what they call an Ionian mode, if you understand modes, but each major key has a relative minor, right? So which is the Aeolian mode, so we need to double the total, which will give us 30. So based on this, he says there are 30 because each of these keys has a relative minor. All right, so for C, the relative minor of C would be A minor, okay? So each of these has a relative minor, okay? So you can read the rest of the article for yourself, but pretty much that's what he is saying. So he justifies exactly what Victor Wooten was also saying, all right? However, the problem I have with this, I'm actually in your way, you guys can see this, all right? The problem I have with this is simply this. If Victor Wooten became a legend in his playing before he started calling it 30 keys, okay? So let me just tell you what I believe, okay? And then we'll go back to that. But that's my thing. He said it was 12 at the beginning. So he did not confuse himself by saying it's 30 now, right? Now, how can we say it's 30? Well, you can look below here, okay? So you see those white keys, okay? And then there are black keys. How many black keys do you see there? Not in total, but if I'm correct, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll see that there's a group of 2, right? Then there's a group of 3, then there's a group of 2 and 3. Well, these 2 and 3 are not, let's say, a new keys. They're just played a little bit higher. So if you sing over here, you could sing up here. But it's the same key. They call it the same pitch, okay? So basically, you could call it the same key, all right? So those are not new keys. So therefore, if there's not new keys, then that means in the black keys, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black keys, okay? So 5 black keys. And as you can see, for those of you that obviously that have experience, now I'm telling you, this is some very advanced stuff. So if you're just joining and you're advanced, we are talking about some very advanced stuff. We're talking about the theory concerning the number of keys. So experts are saying that there are 30. Victor Wooten, an expert, that was an expert before he started saying it was 30. He said it was 12, right? So as you can see, there's 5 black ones. And then you see these white keys, right? This one here, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but everybody would know that that is C, all right? Well, actually, yeah, you should be able to see this on your phone, okay? So therefore, if we have this key here, you can hear it, you can go, I shouldn't try to do this, right? 5, 6, 7, but then it starts again, just like the regular week. In your regular week, how many days are there? Exactly, there are 7. What happens on this 8th day? It starts again. In the Bible, they call that new beginnings. It's a number 8, okay? And that's what we see in our regular week. Well, that's the same thing how music works. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it starts all over again, and so forth. So 7 keys, 7 white keys plus 5 black keys equals 12. That's exactly what Gerson and Isaiah was saying, right? So that there are 12. Now, this is what I believe in terms of all this theory and so forth. I believe that there are, but before I talk about what I believe, let's talk about their justification, okay? Like I said, I'm building the case. The justification for these 30 keys are simply this, okay? So there is justification. Their justification is that you have to have, the theory actually said, that you have to have the correct spelling, and it's based on the correct spelling and based on the correct key signatures, right? So I showed you the key signatures that they recommended, and they said the correct spelling. So those of you that don't know what they mean by correct spelling, I'll tell you what they mean by correct spelling. Correct spelling means this. Music has an alphabet, okay? And if your musical alphabet is easier than the regular alphabet. The regular alphabet goes from, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? It goes into all of that. Well, a little bit more than that, okay? However, the musical alphabet only goes from A to G. So those of you that don't know, if it went from A to G, what would be the letters? I know you to answer this. It'd be A, it'd be B, it'd be C, it would be D, it would be E, it would be F, and it would be G, all right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are our letters, okay? I call these the primary keys or the primary names of music. In piano, you can see it clear because all of these are white, okay? They are clearly found because they're all white, okay? Now, when they use the idea of correct spelling, what they're saying is A has to be followed by B. B has to be followed by C, right? If it's not a B something, if it's not a regular B, then it has to be a B, like a derivative of that. So it has to be B flat or a B sharp or something, according to the theory, okay? So that's what they mean. It always has to follow this principle. So that's what they call correct, they call correct spelling. What they say about the key signatures is what I told you. And according to that article, they say, you have 0 sharps and flats, which is C, right? This would be like it's in C. There's no sharps or flats. But then other ones, like G, has 1 sharp, which would most likely be the F sharp, and they say that's G. So they say these are all the key signatures, right? 15 plus their major and their minor keys. So that would be what they consider to be 30 keys. Now, the problem I have with that is simply this. That justification in terms of spelling, where did that justification go? There you go, get back here. Okay, that justification in terms of spelling should be applied to English. This is not English. This is music. The only thing that we need to take from English is this. We only need to take this from English, okay? That's all we need to take from the principle of English, all right? English is not the language of music. Music is the language of music. And as we go further, as you get more episodes later on down the road, you're going to see that the language of music is numbers. If you see guys that play by ear, they identify what they hear as a number. That's the language of music. But right now we're dealing with the entry level, just with the letters, okay? So let me go back to my PowerPoint here, okay? So like I said, I'm very clear. There are only 12 keys. That is my theory, but I think I've kind of proven that it is actually more of a fact. Now, when I say kind of proven, I tried everything and I'm like, no, it's supposed to be just this, okay? And I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to explain these theories as we go along right now, okay? So let's go to what's next. It's next, because if we hold to those theories, okay, let me show you what can happen, all right? So if you look at these theories, if you can have an E sharp, all right? So those of you that are looking at the piano, that are musicians, you know where the E is. If you have an E sharp, then you can have an E flat double sharp as F. So if you can have an E sharp as F. So let me show you guys this. I'm going to talk at the level of musicians, because musicians and people that are taking music are the ones I primarily are speaking to. So I'm going to speak at that level. But the teacher in me always wants to make sure if there are beginners on, do I have to go? But anyways, I'm going to keep on going. So musicians, we know where E is, all right? You can even touch the screen now. E is this one right here, okay? I'm not going to try to get to it. We know where it is. E. And sharp just means you're going one semitone higher. In regular theory, they call that accidentals. I don't believe that there are any accidents in music. So I just call this or label this as a symbol. It's a symbol that gives you an instruction, but that instruction is only supposed to be applied to the keys in piano that you can see that are all black, okay? And I'll explain what I mean, okay? I'm showing you their theory, and I'm going to show you my theory, which we're going to see that it's actually a fact, okay? And I didn't make it up, obviously. I'm just supporting and I'm holding strong to these true values. Okay, so as you can see, there's 12 keys, as I said. Okay, now E, if you go a semitone above E, you're going to get to that white one. All right, you're going to get one semitone higher. You're going to get to not this one here. As you can see, there's nothing in between it. So one semitone above it is going to get to this key, and that key is F. Okay, so remember we said the primary keys are just this. So now I have to train somebody, even though it's an F, I got to now start telling a student, okay, now, but you got to think of it as an E sharp. I'm like, an E sharp, all right? How much music is written in E sharp? Okay, we'll come back to that another time. Not only that, I don't have perfect pitch, but those that have perfect pitch is where you can actually know exactly which note that somebody is actually singing, so they can sing the note. If you say D, they can like sing it. I can't do that. But I can hear numbers, and I can hear numbers in all 12 keys, but I can't do exact notes. So if you have that, that's a gift. Not everybody has that, okay? But if you say to them, okay, sing E sharp, they're not going to sing E sharp. They're going to sing F, because you have to say F, and then they'll sing an F, okay? Or if you play the note, if I play this, which is an F, they'll say that was F. Why? Because that note is clearly F, right? By saying E sharp. But remember, I said the justification that they're using is correct spelling, meaning if you're gonna, well, I'm gonna show you the context in a second. But like I said, if you can have E sharp as F, now that's a bending of a truth, okay? If you go one semitone, here's E, right? You go one semitone above E, yes, you will get to F, but that is a bending of a truth, right? You can see F is not a black key, okay? Now, sometimes when I've spoken to people and they say, well, it shouldn't necessarily have to be like it's a black key. Well, that's why piano's easy. You can see it all in front of you, okay? So then the next thing that they said, well, then you can have, because if you can have, like I said, if you can have E sharp, then guess what you can have? You can also have E flat double sharp as F. Okay, so once again, all you musicians, you know that if you go one semitone below E, it's E flat. And E flat, the distance between E flat and F is 2 semitones. So then that means you can say that E flat double sharp is F. All right? Now, if you can say that, then guess what you can do as well? You can do this. You can now say then F sharp 11 sharp. So F sharp, sharp, let me count it. F sharp, 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 sharp can also be F. Now, you tell me, that gets ridiculous, all right? And if you can say that, then you can go down up to, if I want to get to this key, I can say, I can start from here and count all the sharps to get to this. That's the theory. That's what you call in a calculator or a computer a syntax error, okay? Or if you were doing a calculator calculation, that's an error. That's a sign that that theory is kind of false, because you know what? Nobody is writing music like that. Nobody's saying, E flat, 11 sharp, which is an F, right? That is a falsified theory, okay? So it's something that I am definitely challenging. However, here's my solution. So I presented the problem, but the solution to fix this is very easy, okay? This is how you have to fix it. Here's the solution. Number one, accept the fact that there are only major keys, okay? So once again, I'm reteaching how the foundations of the language of music should be done. Trust me, 100 years down the road from now, they'll look back and say, you know what? They was right. Actually, I think it's going to be before that. But anyhow, you have to do this. You have to accept that fact, is that there are only major keys, okay? So I presented the others. Now watch my theory, okay? Which is not my theory. It's just the facts of how music works. There are only major keys. There's no such thing as a minor key. I'll have to do another anykeymusic live when I talk about and show you why minor keys are non-existent. There's no such thing as a minor key. People say, what, Robert, how can you say that? You're playing minor chords. Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's a minor key, and I'll explain in a second, okay? And actually, you know, let me explain it very quickly, because they're in that video that Victor Wooten did. He said, when somebody said, okay, when they're asking about keys, they said, okay, is Dorian a key, like D Dorian? He's like, no, D Dorian is not a key, it's a mode. I'm like, that's my exhibit B, right? That's like my exhibit B. A mode is just the same scale starting from a different spot. So therefore, you have to acknowledge certain things. So if I were to read what that expert Dave said, right? He said this, and I'm like, you were leaving something out, okay? It's kind of self-incriminating. Let me read what he said here, and then I'll move on, because I don't want to misquote anybody. I also have some prominent sites that people are learning how to play by ear at, also are holding to this theory that it's like that there's all these multiple keys. Okay, you know what? I'm trying to get the slide for you, but it's not popping up. Just take my word for it. But there's some other prominent experts around that are speaking, that are saying the same thing, that exists, okay? All right, and so forth. So let's fix that today. Okay, and where's my screen? Okay, here we go. Here's my screen. So you have to accept the fact, so just stay with me, accept the fact that there are only major there's only major keys, okay? Everything else, right? Because a minor key is simply a mode of that major key. How can I say that? Okay, let me just do a quick example right here, okay? And you can tell me if I'm wrong. The C major scale is easy to find on the piano because they're all white. All of those whites. If I had a baby, my daughter actually just goes like this. She's 2.5, and she goes through the whole piano. Anybody that does that and presses all those white keys, guess what? It's going to sound like a scale. You sound like a pro. But when you have to do in other keys, that's when it'll be kind of revealing that you really don't know what you're doing. But anyways, the C major scale is these primary notes starting from C, okay? But there's a reason why I don't usually teach it like this. Because I know a lot of you know this stuff already. But I go through a sequence in my anykeymusic course. I go through a sequence in understanding this. It's not this, and it's not memorizing. Okay, Robert says C, D, E, F, G is the major scale for C. No, that's not learning. Learning is not telling you the answer. Learning is teaching you how to understand the answer. Okay, so don't take this as learning. This is not learning. You're just looking at me and memorizing what I have here. But anyways, the C major scale goes from C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So they'll say that that's a major key, right? C, right? So you have, no, that doesn't have the alphabet. Alphabet is, no, sorry, I have to do a little commercial break because I know a lot of this talking could kind of be like, oh, so I got to put a little music in there to liven things up. Anyhow, so we have the C major scale. Now, all they have to do, now they said that the major key is a key. However, then they say, well, you have to have the relative minor. Now, the relative minor is these letters, A, B, C, all the way to A. So guess what? All it is, as you can see, the A and B that's here is the same A and B that's here. A, B, C is the same A, B, C here, okay? So a mode is simply taking the same notes and rearranging the order. So there's no such thing as a minor key because it's just the same C major key starting from a different spot. That's why in the video that Victor Wooten said, or that this gentleman said, Dave, he said he named all these other modes. And I'm like, well, those modes are just the other names. So he named, like, let's say, okay, I won't have to do all that. I didn't want to go all there. But anyways, so let's say the D Dorian is just D to D, starting in the key of C, starting from D to D. He said that's not a key, that's a mode. Well, if that's the same here, then that means A minor is not a key either. It's also a mode, and they have a name for that mode. They call it the Aeolian mode. Okay, so that's how I rest my case, that basically a minor key is not a key, it's a mode. Okay, so there you have it. So that's the number one fact. You got to accept the solution that there is only major keys. There are only major keys. All right, the next thing you have to accept is this. Okay, when I get to it, next thing you have to accept is this, that minor keys are only a mode of the major key. And I think I just gave that demonstration. Okay, let me see. You guys can see my screen? Yes, you can. Okay, then number 3 is simply this. You can recognize that there are only 12 different keys. Now, remember, I said to prove me wrong, but on the piano, you saw them there. There's 7 white keys and 5 black ones. That is 12, okay? All right, so if you want to prove me wrong, please chime in at any time, okay? So that's number 3. Recognize that there are only 12 keys. And then number 4, you have to learn the real understanding of enharmonic equivalence, okay? Enharmonic equivalence is the real reason that we have to look at here. That's the real reason that why that there's a problem, because there's a root to what this theory is. It's another theory that was created, that was justified, that wasn't vetted, right? So that it's been allowed to be here for centuries, that people just accepted it just because of it's been around for that long. That's not how you determine if something's true or not, that it's been like this forever. No, you gotta prove it. Try it through the fire. Okay, right. So, but here, let me just show you a problem I have with this before I show you exactly how we're going to fix this problem. Okay, how we're going to fix this theory and prove that it shouldn't be the way that it is. Okay, so it's simply this. You see this key right here? Okay, so we have an F. Okay, everybody, musicians, you know where F, right? Say I. B flat, you know where it is. E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, okay, right? So we have the F, we have the B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, we have the G flat, but then we have that next key here. We have this key right here. Can you see it? It says C flat. What is a C flat? We said we have all the primary keys, okay? What is a C flat? Okay, so those of you that musical scholars, please tell me what a C flat is. Like, where would you, what color is C flat? Okay, I know that there's a little bit of lag, a lag, so I'll wait a little bit. Which key is C flat? Okay, I'm trying to find this one right here. Okay, I'll just wait a second. Okay, so there is a little bit, maybe be a little bit of a lag, but you know what? Let me check. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just check this. Okay. All right, so I will answer it, even though there's a lag. I want to keep kind of just move on so I can get to my explanation. Okay, so a C flat would be C, and then they say going 1 semitone below C. So if you have a C like right here, a semitone below it would be this one. As you can see, it's not a black key. Now, semitone below would be this. Now, it's a bending of a truth. A flat, if you flatten C, it does bring you to this key. But this name of this key, the name of this key is called, the name of this key, I was looking down there because the screen is there too. I should be looking here, all right? The name of this key is called B. However, now according to theory, according to the justification of correct spelling and key signatures, we're supposed to call it a C flat. That's supposed to be correct. Okay, all right, so here's the problem I have. That's a B. So now in our total, remember, the question was, how many keys are there in music? According to the experts, they said that there were 30 keys. All right, so if this C flat is also a B, when you play it, it's the white one there, then we already have B here. So we're counting something twice, right? Because if I were to play the major scale for B or the key of B, it would sound like this. According to the theory, if I were to play the C flat, that supposedly has 7 flats, notice below there are only 5 black keys. See, the thing is, you can't see black and white on a trumpet. You can't see black and white on a saxophone. You can't see black and white on a violin, on a guitar. You can't see black and white. That's why people have gotten away with some of these theories, right? Before it's visible. Music is very visible right in front of you, okay? So the 7 flats here, trust me, it doesn't exist. And I'm going to prove it a little bit more. But anyhow, we're counting this. They counted this key. If I were to play, like I said, I played the B major scale. Now I'm going to play the C flat, which has 7 flats major scale. I'll play both again. The first one, B. Now I'll play C flat. Did anything sound different? No, it didn't sound different because it's not different. It's the key of B. So therefore, that cancels some of the numbers. So remember, it said that this is C flat and it has a relative minor. So that means we're down to 28. So we got to take off 2 of these. So it can't be 30 keys. So it has to be like 28, right? Okay, well, I got another question. Here's another question. G flat. For those of you that are musical scholars, where is G flat on the piano? All right? So I'll work my way back up. G flat on the piano. For those of you that are musical scholars, if I'm wrong, you can please make it public that I'm wrong. But it's this key right here, the first one in that black key. And once again, if you're a total beginner, this is not learning. Learning from me telling you that this is the key is not learning. You have to be taught how to understand how to get the answers, right? Students of mine will tell you, I never tell them this is the name of the note. I teach them how to find it based on understanding principles of how music works, the language of music works. So this key right here is a G flat, okay? So I'll play it. Now, let me talk about this key here, F sharp. Let me play F sharp as well. This one right here, this black key right here. I'll play G flat. I'll play F sharp. I'll play G flat. I'll play F sharp. Do you hear anything any different? Exactly. So they're counting now keys that are duplicates. So that scratches another 2. So now we're down to 26 keys. Okay, so once again, some theory books are probably going to have to be re-edited. Okay, all right, so let's work our way to this. D flat. Let's go D flat. I'm just going to stop with these. I'm going to do a couple of these inconsistencies. And that's why I say when you deal with a theory, nothing's wrong with a theory. Theories are created to explain something. But theories have to be tested against falsibility to see if it's legitimate elsewhere. Okay, so if you have a D flat, I'll play a D flat, right here, right here. D flat. Now I'm going to play C sharp. I'll play D flat again, and I'll play C sharp. Do you see that? All right, I got to look down there because that's where my other screen is, so excuse me for when I do that. These are also the same key. So guess what? You got to scratch another 2. So now we're down to 24 keys according to this. However, I just proved to you that there are no major or minor keys, right? There are only modes of a key. So therefore, we have 24 keys because it's supposed to be 7 major, right? Sorry, it's supposed to be 12 major and 12 minor. There's no minor keys. So as you can see, it gets right down to a 12 notes, which is what I said and many other people said here today. But some of the experts and some of the traditional theory that's out there has said that there are 30 keys which is a false theory. Okay, and once again, I'm not attacking people. I'm talking about a theory that's been around for centuries. It's not a person, it's a theory, it's a thinking. All right, and these are some of the things that hold back certain people. Okay, so there should only be 12 because look at this. You see the inconsistencies with this theory. Therefore, there's some falseness about it. But like I said, there are 4 things that you have to look at. But to fix this, the last solution is we have to understand enharmonic equivalence, okay? And that's where we're going to start today. That's where my teaching is going to start and end today. Enharmonic equivalence. And this is, now let me explain how enharmonic is usually taught. Enharmonic equivalence is usually taught where the note that you play can have, they call it different spellings, meaning you can say, so for example, over here, I can say D flat, or I can say C sharp, okay? And that is correct, right? This note is either C sharp, or D flat. That's an enharmonic equivalent, meaning it sounds the same, right? It's enharmonically the same, and it's equal, right? It sounds the same, but it has different names. The problem is they've taken that theory and they've applied it everywhere, right? And that theory wasn't designed to be there because they're teaching enharmonic equivalence incorrectly. And we're going to fix it here today, okay? So basically, there should only be 5 places where you actually associate a sharp or a flat to a particular name. Now, just before I give you that answer in terms of enharmonic equivalence, let me give you a relabeling of all of this, okay? This is some new theory. It's not theory, it's facts that you can actually test, okay? So this is what I'm going to say according to AKMS, okay? In terms of key signatures, because if we're going to use key signatures. If you have 0 sharps and flat, AKMS says this. I wouldn't say AKMS, but anykeymusic facts says that it should be the key of C. Okay? Correct. Okay. If you have 1 sharp, guess what? Are you guys ready for this? You won't hear this, because when you hear 1 sharp, everybody automatically thinks G. But guess what? 1 sharp is G and F. Okay? How can I say that? Well, when you play the G major scale, there's 1 black key, which is F sharp. In the key of F, if you play the F major scale, there is 1 black key, which they call B flat, but then they use that justification of spelling that it has to be a B flat. Let me show you this very quickly, and let me show you how we're going to fix this, because this is an erroneous theory, okay? So then they say, let's say in the key of F. Remember they said with spelling, F, G has to follow F, A has to follow G, B has to follow, then they have a C, D, E, F. And this is how they'll teach it. Then they say, now you just got to remember that there is 1 flat. So then they'll say the 1 flat is B flat. So musicians, you guys know this, okay? So they'll say that that is a B flat, okay? Right? Are you guys with me? All right, but here's the deal. I would ask them, okay, well, if you're in the key of F sharp, what's the 3rd note in the F sharp major scale? All right, and if they would play it, they'd say they have F sharp, G sharp, and then they'd have A sharp. And you know what A sharp, another name for A sharp is? B flat. So if I were to do this on a test in the traditional world, and I do this on purpose, they would mark this incorrectly. So if I were to put an A sharp, they would say that is incorrect. That is incorrect spelling. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's English. We're not teaching English. We're teaching music. Music has a different type of teaching. You don't need to apply the F, G, A thing here, okay? So if you have F, G, A, okay, let me play F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, okay? So F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Now I'm going to play with the A sharp, okay? F, G, A sharp, C, D, E, F. Now I'm not going to speak, I'm just going to play it so you can hear it. So here we go. So we have the first one with a B flat. And I'll have the next one with an A sharp. Did you hear any difference? There is no difference. It just looks different when you put it on a staff that makes it seem like it's something different when it's not different. It's the exact same key, okay? So you can have this. Now, they'll say it's incorrect spelling. That's not true. They're doing a theory that obviously you would have to write it the way that they asked for on a test. But in the real world, this is what works, okay? And I'm going to show you why we can do that. So what am I saying? I could have an A sharp here, or I can have a B flat, because guess what? They are both keys, and it's the same key, okay? But the thing is, the reason why they're having a trouble receiving this is because they're not teaching enharmonic equivalence correctly. There are two things that you need to understand with enharmonic equivalence. You need to understand name and function, okay?